here, from that wall to that wall, from here to the back wall here, is the original 1932 City Hall. For people that were in the building during that time, they've recognized that we've changed the floor plan a little bit. This room here, which is now a meeting room, used to be District Court, and it was on that side of the building. And the offices that are there were over here. When we created this room on the original plans, we felt that it would have value as a public meeting space. So we wanted the public to be able to come in and use it, but not interfere with any of the operations. So that's why we have this desk here with the screen and that door's locked. So we can make this space available to the public, and it's been used pretty heavily since we opened. In fact, the Schuylkill Rotary was here earlier this week. We can lock the door, lock the screen, they can come in, go to the bathroom, do whatever they need to do and leave. So it works great. It was designed as a training room, but ever since we moved into it, we recognized it really had value as a meeting room. There's a special feature in here, is a depiction of a fire that occurred in the early 1900s. It's the Webb Hotel fire. It was painted by two local artists, Velma Graves and Hazel Beckwith. It was originally installed in a wall in the day room of the old fire station. And because it was there, the public never saw it, because the day room was the private quarters of the fire department. It was painted on a sheetrock wall. We had plans to be able to just essentially cut that section of wall out and take the whole thing out and move it. But we recognized two things. One was because it was just on sheetrock on a stud wall, when we moved it, it probably was going to break the surface up. The other piece was that this picture was painted in 1974, and we had a pretty good suspicion that it probably had asbestos in the mud. There's an irony in that, because we thought, well, we don't want to move asbestos into a building that we're moving out of because it has mold. So we figured we better do something different. Cooper Studios in downtown Shelton took a digital photograph of it. It's reproduced full size. This is essentially its wallpaper. There are 3 panels here. You don't see the seams because they did such a great job of closing it up. So it's just wallpaper on the wall. We framed it. There's a little plaque down at the bottom about how it got put here in the first place, and then we've got a little description over there. It really makes this room, in our opinion. We've had people that have come by, and they come down Franklin Street from the west side, with all these curtains open, they see the lights on in this gorgeous mural in here. So for us, it's a showpiece. It's a pretty cool place. It was designated that for the fire department's use, but our sense is probably this building could well be used as the city's emergency operations center. We don't have a city EOC, we have a county EOC, but we probably will staff this like when we had the floods a couple years ago. We ended up in a conference room behind the dispatch center for our EOC. This room is all wired for all the computer access, all the web access that we would need. So this goes into what we call the day room, and if any of you were ever in the old fire station, even before we moved into the portables, the day room was just basically a place with a kitchen and some desks and a meeting area, and that was it. This is where the duty crews spend the bulk of their day when they're not doing their work. They have opportunity to sit and watch TV during their off time. They have a great kitchen area. Again, these big tables were part of the donation. This kitchen, we figured probably almost the whole portable that we were in would fit in this one space alone, just from the standpoint of the room that we have. It's a wonderful place to work, and we're very fortunate to have. Yes, the old fire pole. Great. I'm sorry, I forgot that. We had a 25-foot tall fire pole in the old fire station. It was an anaconda brass fire pole. We didn't have a reason to reinstall it for use here, so we preserved a section of it to put it on display. The rest of it is stored in a city building. Next to it is a display case that we're still unpacking boxes. We've got a lot of memorabilia here for the history of the Shelton Fire Department that we're going to put in that display case. I'm glad you pointed that out.
So this was used?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, that patina is years and years of people sliding up and down the pole.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great piece. This particular nozzle is probably about, I'm going to say 25, 30 years old. In the old fire station, way downstairs in the basement, we had a real dank, wet, kind of a gross storage room, and this was in there, back in the corner. So we took it out, took it home and cleaned it up and brought it in here. It actually is the nozzle that came with the fire engine, that our reserve fire engine, an American LaFrance fire engine. This office here has a designation as a watch office, and that's kind of a term that, you know, the fire service is kind of a paramilitary organization, and we picked up a lot of those terms over the years. A watch office is where the officer in charge basically sits, and because it has a window in it, they can watch what's going on the apparatus bay floor. So this is the office where the duty crew operator would sit and work during the day. This is a mezzanine area here that originally when the plans were built, we didn't have a predicted use for this space. But once we started getting the thing framed up, we thought, you know, we've got a huge floor area here to store stuff on. And so we put this railing up here so that we can move stuff in and out of here. All of the material you see here are things that we moved, and we just haven't put them all away yet. We're still moving that. We bought a series of these Costco rolling steel shelves, because the plan was we're going to attach them to the walls. We're just going to be able to move these things around. Great view of the apparatus bay, obviously. This building has a whole series of bedrooms here. There's 6 of them. Were envisioned by Jim Giglione, our previous fire chief, that would support a resident program where we could actually have volunteers come in here and spend duty shifts. We're going to work at some point, try to work with the community colleges to support their firefighter program. They have degree programs at Olympic and South Puget Sound College in fire science, fire command administration. And part of that is that the people that go through that program have the opportunity to work in a working fire station. So we designed these rooms just for that purpose. If we can make that connection and make that work, we would get a rotating group of students come through. They do their in-service fire training here. We'd give them a bedroom to sleep in for free. They buy their own food, their own sheets, and they spend their time, and then they go home to the next class, and hopefully they graduate. We have a 5-bay apparatus bay. We can put 5 pieces of apparatus in here. Right now we have our medic unit, we have 2 fire engines, and as we go down there a little further, we have a rescue unit down there too. We have a 3rd fire engine, which is a reserve engine, that's out for repairs. This building was designed basically to create all the space we need for all of the working part of the fire department. No equipment is in there at all. It's just that part is all just office. When we built this building, when we designed this building, when we got the USDA funding, fire stations are considered a critical facility by definition. And because this is a critical facility, we included in the budget the ability to operate this building by itself without any PUD power. This is a 150 kilowatt generator that runs the entire building. Its primary fuel source is natural gas. Its backup fuel source is propane, and we have 2 propane tanks out in the new parking lot that supply this. This starts about 10 o'clock on a Friday morning every week and runs for about 20 minutes, then it shuts off. It automatically comes on if the power drops to the building. And when the power comes back on, it'll run long enough to cool off, and then it'll shut itself off.
And how long can it last?
Well, on natural gas, it will last as long as the supply lasts. On the propane, I think it's designed to support the building for 48 hours.
Fully support, or
Yeah,
they're
everything.
non-essential? Okay.
Everything runs the entire building. Every outlet, every light, every smoke alarm, everything operates.
Wow.
We designed it so that we could be freestanding with all of the operational ability that we have right now. Jim Giulioni, our retired fire chief, was here yesterday for Terry Davenport's retirement, and Jim had not seen this station. Before he left, he had put together a basic plan for the architect to begin to work on the design for how this building would be laid out, and it's laid out exactly the way he set it up.
Really?
I've told people, and I'm telling you there, this is Jim Giulioni's fire station. It was his vision. We were just given the opportunity to help see it through.
That's great.
Our duty crews are ecstatic. It's warm, it's dry, it's clean. It's helped our volunteer program because now people are really interested in coming here and participating with Fire District 5 in the volunteer program. It's obviously helped our public education program for our tours. We have 3 or 4 tours a weekend here all the time. The basement of the public safety building in its entirety. Nothing was done here except you can see that we demoed it out. This is designed to accept water if it comes into the building from a high water pressure. There's a big sump right here that'll turn on automatically and keep the water out of it. The intent here was that there was never an intent to use this space. It's obviously totally scrubbed and clean because there was a lot of the intrusion and mold here. So it's going to be left exactly like you see it. It's fully sprinkled because it is below the occupied space, and it does have something in here that could be a fire hazard. When we came in here and started looking at this, we thought, you know, this space has training value to us. It provides us with the opportunity to do search and rescue training. And we don't have a facility like that anywhere. Our plan is, and we have to write a training program for it, is that we'll use this space to find people. We'll send a firefighter down here in their bunker here and put them way back in one of those corners, turn the lights out, and tell the crew to go find them. So this was a spin-off. We had no idea it was going to occur until we ended up coming in here and seeing it. Same thing's true for that mezzanine in the apparatus area. Because of its height, we've already developed a ladder training program to use them. So we can roll ladders off of that railing up there and have people climb up and down, move them up and down the stretcher. And we're going to do the same thing here. So it has use. It's not just going to be dead space. It'll never be used for storage. Right. It's going to stay just like it is. But we are going to be able to use it. We are scheduling the open house and the dedication for the fire station for Saturday, April 16th. Okay. It will be from noon to 4. The dedication will be at the front end. The rest of the day will be families, kids, Sparky the fire dog. We're going to have food to give away. We're going to have tours. We just want the public to be able to see the building because it's their building.